Good morning and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Going to take a look at the pitching for today, the 5th of July. Hope everybody had an awesome and safe 4th of July. Everybody has all of their fingers, among other things. Hopefully the headache is not overly strong. I myself am dealing with a little bit of a headache this morning, but we will power through. A little late getting started due to said headache, but sipping on some coffee. Going to get through it. First look at the pitching options. Emphasize first look. Literally had no idea who was pitching today, other than a couple of guys who I have in best ball going today, but I will be looking at DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. If you do play in FanDuel, I would cut my pool in half or so. Pricing isn't quite as tight. You don't have to be as creative. Allows you to get the stacks you want with an upper tier-ish pitcher. Now, with all that said and done, we do have a 9-game day slate, or probably, I guess it's an early slate on DraftKings, and a 6-game main slate this evening. Some interesting pitching options, but also not a ton of K numbers, I guess. A couple 6.5s, a few 5.5s, but a lot of 4.5s. And one of the slates has a few openers this evening, which makes things a little more annoying. Should say today or this evening. Minnesota, the only game with some rain potentially. A lot of offensive environments by the looks of it. The storms that hit the East Coast brought a lot of warm temperatures, and here in the Midwest, still pretty warm, very humid out as well, at least here in Wisconsin. So we could see the ball fly again today after all the home run fireworks yesterday. But looking at one weather spot for sure is Wrigley out to center field after the Cubs hit 8 home runs yesterday. Probably a pretty important spot to pay attention to. Will there be a little bit of a hangover from those home runs? I'm not sure. We do get the Cubs facing a left-handed pitcher, which probably changes things a little bit. Blowing out in Minnesota as well. Blowing out in a lot of places, but not overly strong. 10 miles an hour in Philly, 10 in Atlanta. Coors across the field. So there we have it. There's kind of a lengthy look at the weather. Let's just jump into this early slate. The aforementioned Tampa Bay, Minnesota. Minnesota going more bullpen game. Adams threw 2 2/3 in the minor leagues on Tuesday. Don't expect a lengthy performance. And I believe he's mostly a reliever in the minor leagues, so just not really a great spot. But Taj Bradley, K-prop of 4.5 juices on the over. Kind of a quintessential GPP type option. He was pretty solid against the Twins the first time he faced them. Didn't pick up the W, but still put up 19.5 fantasy points. His numbers have been much better when on the road, where he's at today. I'm a little shocked that his K numbers are as low as they are right now, but his home run rate plummets, obviously, not pitching in that ballpark in Tampa Bay. I'm very intrigued by Taj Bradley. I will be honest. I do want to be able to play a decent chunk of him, so I am hoping that delay chances either diminish, or we might be looking at a pregame delay and then a clean game. But again, we will rely on our weather guys to let us know timing-wise. The aforementioned Wrigley game, wind blowing out. I am a Liberatore fan. I do not like this spot for Liberatore, even though he did perform pretty well against the Cubs. And if I am going to take a pitcher against the Cubs, it's generally a left-handed pitcher. But the weather just makes it really difficult. Would I be shocked if Liberatore puts up a pretty strong performance? I actually wouldn't be, but on this particular slate, since it is a 9-gamer, I'm just not going to deal with it. Jordan Wick expected to be the bulk man coming up. No idea what he's done in the minor leagues at all. Just not interested, obviously, with the weather as the Cubs go with an opener. The Angels and Toronto. Toronto scoring a bunch of runs. Kujanowicz just not going to be in play. Scherzer on the other side. Obviously, we pick on the Angels because they strike out an absolute shit ton. Scherzer absolutely dominant against the Yankees, which blew my mind. Just was not expecting that. I know we talked about Scherzer on the video that day. I just think he's kind of washed overall. Maybe not as badly as Verlander, but showing 7 Ks in that 5 innings kind of showed me that there was some K upside yet in him. I'm intrigued. Just obviously much softer matchup. Do I worry about a little bit of regression here? Maybe a letdown? Maybe. But as a true baseball fan, like I want to see Scherzer be, somewhat Max Scherzer. Doesn't have to be prime Scherzer, but would not be against watching him put up, strong numbers the rest of the season. Maybe a ERA in the mid to upper 3s. Strikeout per inning would be nice to see out of a guy like Scherzer. Boston, Washington. Mitchell Parker intrigues me just because I think Boston, a couple of better bats with Duran and then Abreu, who's been hitting home runs, being left-handed. I think there's some upside for Parker. I'm just not sure if I'm going to get there. He is best when at home, but he just doesn't strike out a lot of guys. And we need some strikeouts. Obviously, he struck out 8, but that was against Colorado. Not really a comp we can use in this spot. Walker Buehler has not looked good over the last month. There are some strikeouts in the Washington lineup, but there's plenty of danger. I don't think I want to get to Buehler either in this spot. Cincy, Philly. We were about both pitchers yesterday, and that backfired greatly. I'm going to be back on both pitchers today. I'm going to go there. Ranger Suarez a little more reliable than Luzardo. He's been phenomenal over his last 4 starts. I'm just going there. I'm a big Ranger Suarez fan. I'm going to continue to be. And I'm going to continue to play left-handed pitching against Cincinnati. On the other side, Lodolo kind of been just mediocre. Hasn't really performed like I thought he would coming up. He's best when on the road, which is where he's at today. I don't generally want to take pitching against Philadelphia. Left-handed pitching probably where I want to go, or high strikeout guys. So I think both guys are in play. Much prefer Ranger Suarez, but I will play some Lodolo as well. Kansas City, Arizona. Ryan Nelson's been pretty strong the last 3 appearances. Kansas City just struck out a bunch against Eduardo Rodriguez, even though they did hit him as well. I'm somewhat interested in Ryan Nelson, which is gross, but his numbers at home have been phenomenal. He's just not a big K guy either, and Kansas City doesn't strike out a ton. So he's more like a last man in for me. And Michael Wacha, I'm just not going to use him. Right-handed against Arizona, not really something I'm excited about doing. Baltimore, Atlanta. Dean Kramer coming off of a great start, couple strong starts in a row. I'm interested, minus the fact that on the road he's been atrocious. This Atlanta squad just keeps underwhelming. People keep expecting them to explode. They keep having these huge run totals, and they just aren't getting it done. So I'm going to be willing to use some Dean Kramer. On the other side, I'm not really interested in Dylan Dodd, who's been throwing out of the bullpen and expected to be the long man. It just kind of looks like a bullpen game for Atlanta. Nothing to really see there. Yankees, Rodon, somebody we're definitely going to use. Going to be a volatile spot in this matchup, but he did shut down the Mets first time he faced them. Walks were an issue, but still has been better on the road. So I'm very much interested. Better from a ERA and run prevention standpoint, I should say. Montes hasn't looked great. Not interested in Montes. Definitely going to be playing some Rodon. More of a sprinkle in. Milwaukee, Miami last game on this slate. Just never getting to Quantrill on a 9-game slate. Chad Patrick, price tag's up there. We just paid $9K for him here against Colorado. 8 strikeouts in 5 innings. Just didn't get the W. 17 strikeouts over his last 2 starts. 8+ strikeouts in 3 out of his last 4. I like the upside. I'm not sure where Miami falls in the strikeout numbers. Try to hurry through this here so we can get to the last game on the slate. 12 fewest, so it's not a great strikeout matchup for Patrick, but I'm interested in him in that ballpark. Getting to the main slate here, it's 6-gamer. Detroit, Cleveland. Try to get this done in 3 minutes or so. Casey Mize is going to be interesting to me just because the Cleveland lineup has underwhelmed. I know Jose Ramirez hits him pretty well. I did see that in some BVP numbers. I like Mize. My browser wants to take forever to load up here. Solid against Cleveland the first time he faced them. A little rougher on the road, but still, I'm interested in Mize. Logan Allen, I don't think I'm going to get there, but he's in consideration just because he's left-handed against Detroit. But I don't think I'll get there. I think it's just Mize for me in that game. Dodgers opening with Ohtani. Robleski has looked good. I might have some interest in Robleski, especially after Houston exploded yesterday. A little hangover, potentially, like the rest of America on July 5th. Framber Valdez, I am interested just because he has huge upside. He's capable of shutting down just about any offense. He is worse on the road, but still, I'm very interested for GPP purposes. White Sox, Colorado, a game that we should not really consider pitching, even though Colorado strikes out a ton. Just not any pitchers that I'm super interested in. I think German Marquez is probably going to get talked about around the industry a little bit at his price point and then some of his performances recently. He's actually been solid enough at home, but he still allows a ton of base runners, not many strikeouts. Just not something I'm overly excited to attack, so probably going to end up passing. Kolek, probably not getting there. Like, he just hasn't looked that great since those first 2 starts. Not too afraid of the Texas offense, but still, I just don't think Kolek is somebody I'm super excited to play. Corbin might make my pool, just because San Diego has struggled enough against left-handed pitching. Like Tatis struggled, and then Arias, Sheets, Merrill are all left-handed. So maybe I can get into Patrick Corbin. That's one I'm going to have to think about a little bit. Logan Webb, even on the road in this spot, I think there's a ton of upside. A lot of strikeout upside. Was solid against them the first time he faced them. Didn't rack up strikeouts, but there is strikeout upside here. Severino has looked atrocious. He's in the news about talking about how horrible it is to pitch in this ballpark. I'll be honest, I might utilize him just as a spot where he might come out and, play the FU game and try to shove against San Francisco. It's volatile. San Francisco looked rough yesterday, so I think I might play some Severino, as gross as it feels. And the last game we're going to talk about here, Luis Castillo hasn't looked spectacular, almost in 2 months, but it is a great matchup against Pittsburgh. He is pitching at home, where he has been far better. Strikeout numbers are a little better as well, so Castillo probably going to be pretty chalky on this slate. But there we have it. There's our first look at pitching. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. And if you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc. I will put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's R-A-Z, for 10% off monthly. And as always, best of luck, everybody.